Bofors hangover still hangs heavy on South Block. Though the army wants modernization, the UPA government has, at the last minute, scrapped an 8,000 crore rupee plan to buy and build 1,500 towed artillery guns. The reason being, Bofors has emerged as the front runner, but even a quarter century after the Bofors scam tore down the Rajiv Gandhi government, the fear is obviously palpable. The government's move proves that Bofors is still a political hot potato, and this despite the company having a makeover. Bofors is now British-owned with a partnership with India's Mahindra Group, so the government is actually sacrificing the modernization of the altar of political sensitivities. The Army's 180-odd artillery regiments haven't inducted a single new piece of artillery since the Bofors scam broke in 1987. Bofors is no longer on the blacklist, but is politically untouchable. Considering its past with the present government. Two other gun makers, South Africa's Denel and Singapore's ST Kinetics, are also on the blacklist. The Army's effort to upgrade its stock of 400 Bofors L-39 guns has also found no transaction, even though the guns performed well during the Kargil War. Bofors is also a contender for Army's requirement of autonomous wheeled artillery. Again, politics has indefinitely deferred the process. But for a perspective on this story, we are joined by defence correspondent Shiv Arur. Shiv, this goes to prove what political sensitivity really means and how dispensable the Army's warfighting requirements really are.
Well, 23 years has to be some sort of a record, doesn't it? The fact is that India hasn't been able to induct a single piece of new artillery, not a single piece of heavy gun since the Bofors scam actually broke. So that really answers that question about just where the Army's priorities are and just where political sensitivities really lie in this country. The fact is that the Bofors ghost has lost none of its vitality, none of its fearsome strength, even though it's been almost a quarter century since that scam actually broke. The fact is, as far as preparedness is concerned, to hell with what the Army's imperatives are, to hell with what military planners really are constantly banging their heads against the walls, saying that they need at this point of time. And to hell with a long-term perspective plan and for artillery modernization. The fact is, as long as Bofors remains a hot potato, which it will probably forever, we're never going to see another Bofors gun ever inducted in this country. The sad part is, of course, for the politicians of this country, the Bofors gun has proved to be a front-runner in as many as 3 competitions so far in the last 8 years. But every time it emerges a front-runner, you've got the government silently. None of this is overt, none of this is official. It's always silently put through that this cannot be selected. You've got to restart the competition.
But Shiv, now that the government has scrapped this modernization plan because of Bofors emerging as the front runner, the real sufferers are going to be the Army. I mean, what exactly are they planning to do since the effort will start all over again? Is it bound to take a few more years?
Well, former Army chief during the Kargil War made an iconic statement when he was asked how the Army was going to fight with all this old equipment and what it was going to fight with. He said the Army will fight with what it has. It was a statement that revealed a great amount about the sentiments, the emotions of our military planners, of successive generations of Army chiefs of this country, about what they face when they go against political red tape, political sensitivities, and instruments like the Bofors scam, which have sort of ad nauseum been instruments to beat political governments with. As long as Bofors has the kind of implications that it always has, nothing's going to actually happen. The Army needs a lot of artillery guns. It needs fresh, upgraded artillery guns. It still hasn't got one even 23 years after the Bofors scam broke. The Bofors has changed ownership. It has changed its name. It's British owned now. The liabilities of the Bofors scam are with a company in the Netherlands now. But all of that doesn't matter right now, because no matter what you do, the fact is the Bofors name sticks, and that's all that matters to this government.
Oh, absolutely. It's all in the name after all, especially for this government. Shiv, but thanks so much for getting those updates.